the rain over that camera right now.
I know.
Perfectly described Portland, Oregon.
It is a soggy day here in Portland, Oregon.
That is the capture. That is what Portland looks like 90% of the time. That's what I know what it is.
Accuracy.
Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. This is our daily show here from Digital Trends, where we bring you the trending tech topics of the day. We've got interviews. We've got all kinds of news we're going to catch you up with, all while broadcasting live across our various different platforms, including Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Periscope. There we go. Something like that. We're live on all of those, and we can take your comments and questions as they come through. I want to shout out to Seat Tiger on YouTube, who just asked, why is that coffee never full? That is a good question. It's one of the mysteries of this show. At some point, we will solve it, but it's not going to be today. I'm just going to warn you right now.
I have a theory. It's because it intravenously connects to us.
That is what we need here. That's the kind of tech that we need to find out about. All right, so we've got a lot on the docket today, as usual. So let's go ahead and run down what you're going to get today. I'm Greg Nibbler, to start off there, just to let you know that. But we're going to be joined by Ronan Glahn, our automotive editor, here in just a little bit to kind of bring us up to date on some of the really cool things that are going on with tech and automotive, including some new things from Tesla. We've got an electric bike, and the idea that when we get autonomous vehicles, how they may actually cause traffic jams instead of solving a bunch of problems. There's a reason for it. Has to do with parking meters. So we'll explain that here in just a little bit. We've got Ronan, who's going to be joining us for that. And then we're going to be heading to our New York studio, where we're going to be joined by Jeremy Kaplan, our editor-in-chief, who's going to be talking to Jerry Colbert. Jerry is the CEO and co-founder of Atomic Entertainment, and they are the creators of a show called Brainchild on Netflix. They're co-creators actually with Pharrell Williams. We're going to be talking about that and everything that has to do on Netflix. It's a really cool program and everything they're kind of working on. So all of that is coming up. But right now, we're here in studio with Adrienne Warner.
Good morning.
Adrienne.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Wet, soggy, but drying off now.
Yes, that is what Portland is like. Taking a look, there's definitely some interesting conversations here in the chat. Keelan said, "Infinite cup of holding is ready." Okay. Talking about the coffee. I'm not sure where he's going with that one, but I read it anyway. Read it on the air because we read the comments here at Digital Trends. All right. Let's get to our top tech headline here.
We have some really, really exciting news coming up about Samsung's Unpacked event.
Indeed.
Happening on February 20th. February
20th. It's coming up. Samsung Unpacked. This is the event where we're going to find out about a lot of stuff that's going on. So since it is trending right now, and this is what people are going to be talking about, I feel like, for the next week until this event actually happens, to kind of go over just a little bit, I thought what we'd do is run down what we expect to see and maybe what could possibly happen. And while we're doing that, let us know what you would like to see, what you're excited about from Samsung, what you would like to see, what you would like to have happen, what you're not excited about. Let us know that in the comments and questions. But I guess to start off, what we're pretty 99.99% sure we're going to get are the new S10 phones.
Yes, there's going to be 3 different phones: the S10 Lite potentially, the S10, and then the S10 Plus.
Okay, so 3 of those. So these are the 10-year anniversary phones in the S line that we usually get the new S line every year. But this one, S10 Lite, S10, S10 Plus, kind of standard. We've got some renderings there. That's from, I think, Evan Blass. He gets a lot of leaks and shows a lot of stuff. So I think that's from some different patent renderings. Showcasing what could happen with those phones. They may not look exactly like that. Probably going to have the punch hole camera in the front of it. So people will either love or hate that. It's not the notch, so I don't know. Are you pro notch or anti notch on a phone?
Honestly, I'm kind of pro notch, just for the user functionality of it. Andy Boxall kind of had a really interesting bit on.
He convinced you that the notch was okay?
he convinced me that the notch was okay. So I listened to.
Well, you can read all about Andy Boxall right there at digitaltrends.com. He's actually got a whole article that I'm taking a lot of this information off of about the Samsung Unpacked event. So if you really want to dig in, there's lots of information on there as far as what we expect from the S10 phones. But that's just a general idea of what we're going to get from this event on February 20th. The foldable phone. They pretty much have to put up a foldable phone at this point.
They have teased it for so long, and they have that really teeny tiny commercial. Like, we really need to see how this thing functions at this point.
Yeah, we've got like the little glimpses, maybe a little teaser and a commercial here or there, and then we'd had the teaser where they just said, the future unfolds on February 20th. Really hard to figure out what they're talking about with that one. But whether or not the things we don't know though are whether or not you're going to get to be able to have a hands-on with it, whether or not our editors are going to be able to touch it, whether they're just going to show it on the stage again and be like, yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Someday.
Goodbye.
Yep. See ya. You know, that's possible. A dreamer on YouTube just said looking forward to the F, and that's one of the rumors. It could be called the Samsung Galaxy F. We don't know. I think that name's a little lame. But
I do too, because I mean that could be taken on the internet in so many ways for fail. You know,
yeah,
if it doesn't work out,
you can do with F there with that one. So I mean, let's just put it out there. So that's kind of another look at it. That's from the actual press conference that they had a while ago, where he showed it on stage. But hopefully we'll get a bigger look. Whether or not it's going to go on sale, though, that's something we don't know. My guess is, just to not try to upstage their S10 sales, is that they're going to showcase it and say it's going on sale May 1st or something like that.
Gotcha.
A few months out.
And then there will be a later press release about, or demonstration or something about all the functionality.
Yeah.
That's what you think is going to happen?
I think we'll get a date of when it's going to go out. I don't even know if we'll get hands-on with it, because they're really going to want to push the S10s. And that, you know, in a couple of months they'll have an event where you'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
Just a guess. We really don't know, and our experts are giving their prognostications on this at digitaltrends.com, so you can go and take a look there. Some other things that are just total rumors that we don't know for sure is if they will also release a special edition 5G phone during Samsung Unpacked. It's potentially called the S10X or S1010. I don't know how you would do that.
S10 squared.
Yeah. S10 squared. I like that. I like that idea.
Cool.
Where this would be with all of the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
as far as a standard phone would have, potentially up to 10 gigabytes of RAM, a terabyte of internal storage space, which they do have the ability to do that now with their terabyte storage space chips, and so that's actually already been announced that they have those. When it rolls out to a phone, we don't know. This is the idea of if they have that, you know, and have the fully 5G capable, everything on board. We'll see, and even a 5,000 milliamp battery. That was another rumor, so it would last for, I don't know, days.
Forever. Yeah.
Forever.
And yeah, that Qualcomm Snapdragon chip in there for the 5G functionality, which I mean, I assume that's going to be popping up in a lot of mobile announcements.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if they incorporate that into the regular S10s as well. So again, just running down really quick, you know, kind of walking through what we know and what are rumors. We do expect that there's going to be the new Galaxy Watch. So going on to the wearable side of it, the Galaxy Watch, kind of the successor to the Gear Icon watches.
Yeah.
So
which are kind of bigger, yeah, and it looks like they dropped the bezel completely. It kind of looks more like a circular Apple Watch, honestly.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, and this is, you know, these are the renderings that we've seen, so we don't know 100%. Rumor. Yeah, I can't emphasize that enough. Although enough rumors have come out now that I think we're starting to get more of a look, and it does sound like the bezel side is going to go away. I don't know if for people out there if that's an influencer for you, of whether or not you're going to end up buying that would influence you to buy a Galaxy Watch or not. Whether the bezels was the thing that was, you know, keeping you away from it. So yeah, there's kind of a look there. One of the things that the Gear had before was that circular.
The dial.
The dial, thank you. Yes, circular. The dial was around the outside of it. So yeah, so that's possible that could be going away. And then the other two things, perhaps some new earbuds, wireless earbuds, Galaxy Buds. Galaxy is kind of what they're going to branding everything now. So I think we're going to see Gear kind of go away, but Galaxy earbuds. Cool. I had Caleb Dennison was in here the other day, and he
talked about them.
He talked about them. And he wasn't that excited about them.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't excited about Samsung's ability to create quality earbuds.
Oh, really? Okay. And like no real introduction of something like truly innovative about the earbuds either. Like nothing revolutionary.
Not that we know of. You know, other than the Samsung version. But yeah, he doesn't think, and you never know. I mean, Samsung makes high quality products, but this is one area where they seem to have been behind for a while. So we'll see if this is the time where they can step up and actually compete, you know, with some of the bigger wireless earbud manufacturers. They certainly have the name brand to do it, but whether or not they have the technology to do it, you know, we'll have to see if that works out. And even if these are announced. And then the last thing is the Galaxy Home.
Yeah, which seems to be another area that they're kind of playing catch up in that really hasn't taken off quite as much as their other products. With Bixby, I believe, is there...
Still trying to make that happen. You know, and Bixby, that's, you know, that if you don't know, that's their That's their internal AI service, basically, their assistant. You know, as long as if they put out this smart speaker and it works with either Alexa or Google Home, great. Yeah. Because I heard the sound is pretty good on these, because these were announced a while ago, like August 2018, I believe, is when they were announced. But now, hopefully, they're finally going to be going on sale to where everybody's going to get them, or there'll be an update to them of some kind. So we'll find out about that. Taking a look in the chat, PDX Alerts said, looks like the AirPods, which are fantastic, talking about the Galaxy Buds on there.
PDX Alerts listens to us.
PDX Alerts tuning in right now. Yeah, so it sounds like PDX Alerts, they use the Apple AirPods.
Oh,
so,
all right.
Yeah, I do not.
Interesting.
I don't have them.
I don't either.
I don't like the Golf Tee look. That's
I don't
my
either,
only thing.
and like I feel like my ears already don't fit a lot of those earbuds very well.
Yeah.
So like I can just imagine one popping out, losing it, and then money going down the drain. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which I was thinking earlier, also, you know, to these phone announcements and how expensive they must be for all of the stuff that they're packing into the phone, especially the rumored S10X. Like,
right.
I can't imagine spending that much money on something that I could potentially just like leave in the bathroom on accident. You know?
Seriously, no, that's a good point. I mean, because I mean, the 10X, like the foldable phone, we've seen the price maybe even up to $2,500 for this thing.
Which is, you know, a laptop.
Yeah, a good laptop.
A really good laptop.
Yeah, more money than I'd probably spend on a laptop. And, you know, so $2,500 for that, yeah, the Galaxy 10X or whatever it would be, yeah, because you're right. Like, oops, left it in there.
Whoops, sorry.
Boom, $2,500. Yeah, that's a little bit much for me, but somebody will probably buy it, and somebody definitely will, and we don't know the prices. But that's kind of just our little rundown of what we know so far, and that's a very brief rundown. If you want to get in depth with it and find out a lot more about what some of the different rumors are, get into the specs. There's a lot of stuff at digitaltrends.com. We've got an entire section just on trying to guess what's going to happen at the Unpacked event, what we know so far. So check that out there and stay tuned, because we'll be covering this obviously all the way up to it, and afterward we'll have people on the ground for the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked, our Samsung Unpacked event on February 20th. All right, maybe it's time for some Read 'em and Weeb.
Yeah.
Time to read some
I'm
comments.
ready.
Comments and questions are something that we do read here at Digital Trends. If you're just tuning in for the first time, thank you for joining us. Hit subscribe wherever you're watching to make sure you get every episode when we go live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Let's talk a little bit about some Read 'em and Weeb comments. Oh, boy.
You ready?
Yeah, so you never know. We do read a lot, you know, everything that comes across our different platforms. We've got Mike Hollywood. That's all right.
Mike Hollywood.
I'm going to add Hollywood on it.
Talking about the Samsung 8K QLED TV, a hands-on review. I'm still watching on my black and white TV. Still can't tell the difference.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Maybe Mike really needs to get his eyes checked.
Not very Hollywood of you if you're watching on the black and white TV, but okay. That's where we're going with that. All right, Mike. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. There's a lot of ways for you to upgrade a little bit from your black and white TV.
I mean, honestly, I didn't quite get all the buzz around 8K until I saw it with my own eyes, and then was like, oh, I get it.
Like,
oh my
this
God,
makes sense
this
now.
is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Mike just, you know, needs to go actually look at some 8K.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. All right, Mike Hollywood. Some comments that are coming through about my shirt, which I really appreciate there.
Excellent.
All right, Haifeng Yu regarding, there it is.
Yes.
Lemon Greg's Technicolor Lumberjack look today.
Hot with 3 T's.
3 T's. Thank you, Keelan. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot.
I think you also deserve a fire emoji.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take it up a notch, maybe a fire emoji would kind of like really put it to the next level. I think you regarding, that's all I'm going to think for the rest of this show. Google Job suggests that a Pixel Watch is on the way. Listings?
Oh,
okay.
I see, yeah.
Google Job listings suggest that a Pixel Watch is on the way. Just like the Google Plus abandonware. Whoa. Wow. Hot take right there. Hot take. That is a hot take. Google Plus, yes, it's gone. Actually, I think you can no longer sign up for an account now as of like last week.
I remember getting the email that was like, it's going away. And I was like, oh, I haven't used it since the time I signed up.
Yeah. Yep, and I think it's April 2nd that it's gone forever, Google+. I think the Pixel Watch could be something, though, that could work.
Well, yeah, with the success of the Pixel line, I could see the Pixel Watch working. So maybe we will see some development there.
All right, so we'll have to find out. Well, Wifing, you know, #abandonware. I do like that.
I do, too.
All right, let's take a look at some of our other comments and questions as they come through here from Digital Trends across our various platforms, where we find out, okay, Martin Eady, regarding the night lock is designed to keep intruders out of your home or classroom.
Oh, so this ad basically says, buy us and the cops can't bust down your door. Brought to you in part by the Walter White Foundation.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've seen Breaking Bad, so I'm trying to, well, actually, I've watched some of it recently, but I'm trying to remember the tie-in.
I am too.
With this. But anytime there's a Walter White Breaking Bad reference, I'm totally fine
I'm totally on board. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm from New Mexico, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you know all about
all about it.
Yeah. Does that kind of suck being from New Mexico? And it's like, I mean, it's cool that Breaking Bad is from there. It's cool. But does it like, how does everybody feel about the side of it?
I mean, like the accuracy of the show is just so spot on in the way that they portray New Mexico. I can't speak to any involvement in that side of the industry, but
okay. Just figured we'd check in on that. All right, Frank Baker, regarding the best sound machines to help you fall and stay asleep. I find the Cabernet works better than a sound machine. I figure that's how you have to kind of say that one.
How about some Cabernet and a sound machine? That's what I do.
Well, there you go. I mean, Frank, I appreciate that, you know?
Yeah.
I appreciate the honesty in that. You know, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of Cabernet. All right, let's see if we have any more comments, questions that were coming through on the Read 'em and Weep segment. Okay, we do. Okay, here we go. So we got Hall Novamila regarding awesome tech you can't buy yet, DIY game consoles, and indestructible flashlights. Let's see. Not gonna lie, I clicked on the video because I misread the title. Yep. We read these live on the air as they come through. Not one of my proudest moments. Hal, you know, I think the least proud thing was that you typed it all out after.
Yeah, that you really admitted to that.
That's really more where the issue.
You felt the need to come tell us about that.
And then got me to read it. Almost. That's more Jake trying to see what he can get me to read on there. All right, I'm going full Ron Burgundy here. So let's go on to some more tech news.
Excellent.
Adrian, all right. We are broadcasting live across many different networks, but there is another online platform that's launching now. So LinkedIn is going to be launching their own live video streaming platform. So it's a live video tool and a streaming platform that LinkedIn is going to be launching soon.
Yeah. So apparently a lot of people have been asking for this for a while, and they partnered recently to bring other video content to LinkedIn last year with Vimeo. So this is kind of like, this has been churning for a little while. It seems like kind of the next development. I'm curious to see who they'll partner with to actually bring this into reality, but it's pretty cool. A lot of sponsorship opportunities, I feel like, in that space. There are,
yeah. It's a different kind of platform, I feel like, from what we've seen so far. So right now there's a beta. Right now it's in beta form, so if you receive certain people will receive an invitation, and then they can, I believe, start broadcasting video, then also test it out and watch some video. But it's going to be a slower rollout, so the beta is launching this week. And if you get an email, great, good for you. Let us know what you think of it, because I'm curious. I'm hoping to get an email on it. But there's, if you don't get an email, then there's also going to be a site set up in the coming weeks, so you can sign up to actually take a look at it and see how it works out. But I guess it's going to be a little bit of a slower rollout. But yeah, you know, another platform.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe we'll be seeing DT Live shortly on LinkedIn.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe.
That would be great. So yeah, so all of that right there. So LinkedIn launching their live streaming platform as well. All right, let's go on to another one. Let's talk about some Microsoft, the HoloLens.
All right, yes.
The HoloLens.
This is also a bit of a tease.
I have wanted a HoloLens for so long, just the idea of it. And we're talking about Microsoft's augmented reality glasses, the HoloLens, and now what we're hearing, well, what we're seeing actually from Microsoft's strange teaser video, is that at Mobile World Congress, they're going to release the HoloLens 2, or at least announce it. So this is the video that came out. It's a strange video.
It's very conceptual.
Very conceptual. What did you think when you saw this?
I honestly was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you molded something from the earth. It's on fire, and like it didn't tell me what it was at all, other than it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, this is flashy. If I'm going to watch a science fiction movie, okay, looks good.
Honestly, that tells me absolutely nothing.
This is for Westworld, what are we watching here? But yeah, I think
that tells me a lot more.
Exactly. So that's more of a better look at what the HoloLens glasses look like. And the way it works is, they're augmented reality glasses. So you put them on, and overlays digital imagery, over the normal world. So, and AR is definitely a big, we've seen a lot of advancements in it, at least a lot of companies really investing in it. As far as Google, they're bringing AR to their Maps service. This is kind of like the step further, at least in concept, of what HoloLens would do. And so much so they've been releasing videos for years, kind of showcasing what they think it's going to be, and I love every one of them. I'm like, this is the future I want. I want things overlaid.
Young Greg has been wanting.
He's been wanting for years. I've dreamed of this. But so far it hasn't really gotten down to a consumer level. They're available now for $3,000 for developers, but we don't have them for ourselves yet.
Have we been able to see what these developers are making with their versions?
We've seen some demonstration videos, and I think there's more out there. There's this demonstration. This is about 3 years ago today, actually.
Wow.
Microsoft put this one out. And it showcases what it would be like to watch an NFL game, watch a Seahawks game, I think is what the Seahawks-Niners game, if everybody had HoloLenses on. So you see all the different things popping up. This would be like in real time. You can
control
manipulate it, and have all kinds of different renderings. And I mean, the idea to me is pretty cool. Like some of the different ways that you could find entertainment.
Right.
Have the field put there on your table. I like this idea. I think it's pretty fun. Some of the other things they showcased were like the idea that you could have your room set up, your digital room. So in your actual kitchen, you walk in and you've always got your email on the refrigerator, or your Netflix window is popped up on the wall next to you, and it remembers where it is, and it's mapped out your house. You just put on these glasses.
It's very cool.
Maybe I watched a lot of, it sounds like a lot of 80s futuristic movies.
It sounds like Minority Report.
It does, yes, which is what I want.
Yes.
So the idea is great, but what this HoloLens 2, what's it going to mean? We don't know. There's speculation that maybe they'll have, some of the new Qualcomm chips.
Right, that it'll be always connected, and that there'll be an all-day battery life, LTE connectivity. There's a lot of rumors, so I'm curious to see if they'll touch on any of those at all.
Yeah, and when we're going to get a consumer version. I mean, it's great. Nobody's really going to pay $3,000 for it right now because we don't really know. I mean, we don't really know
what it's capable of.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully there'll be more. Microsoft, if you want to send a HoloLens 2 out, we'd love to try that out.
Test?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Mobile World Congress press conference is set for 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, February 24th. So we'll be carrying coverage of all of Mobile World Congress. I talked about Samsung Unpacked on the 20th. That following weekend is even way more that's going on.
It's bananas.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I know you've been working on a lot of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be covering a lot of that that first Monday, the 25th. We're going to be talking about a lot of those announcements. So definitely stay tuned for that coverage.
Fantastic. Yeah, so all of that will be happening there at Mobile World Congress, where you can take a look. And hopefully we get a HoloLens for all of us to use.
For Greg.
For me. That's really what it comes down to. All right, one more thing. Let's get to this and talk about another investment in self-driving vehicles. It seems actually if you live in like the Phoenix area, you get to see
try all of these?
Yeah. But this is the company SoftBank, which you've probably seen SoftBank before. They're the ones that have the Pepper robot. That's Pepper, the friendly robot.
So they're very, very invested in this type of technology.
They've also invested. They invested over $2 billion to General Motors. They invested in Uber. They invested in Mapbox. They invested in Park Jockey. But now they invested in this company called Nuro. They just invested almost $1 billion into Nuro, which is an autonomous delivery vehicle. It's bigger than those tiny little.
Yeah, the tiny little sidewalk ones. This one actually looks like it drives on the street.
Yeah. And right now, you can, if you're in, I believe, Scottsdale, I think it's Scottsdale, they partnered with Kroger. So you can get Kroger deliveries to your house in that thing.
I'm all for more cute delivery robots.
See, that's the problem. They make them cute, and that's how
I
the
know,
robots are
and then they get you.
Yep, the robots are luring you in right now. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge investment, and this SoftBank, I did not realize. I mean, combine that with, like I said, those other investments, they're up. They got to be close to about $4 billion invested in autonomous delivery alone, and those kinds of programs. So it's coming. But you know, if you're in Arizona, you get Waymo right now.
Right.
You have
Uber.
You have Uber. You have Nuro. So yeah, you've got a lot of different options. Would you use this?
I wouldn't move to Phoenix to use it, but, but yeah, I would use
the
this.
Phoenix side.
I haven't really gotten into grocery delivery in general, so I don't know. I still like the tactile picking out my kale.
Ah, yes. A classic Portlander.
A classic Portland. But I think I would give this a shot, absolutely.
Yeah.
And to dip my toe into the automated waters.
Yeah.
This would kind of get me into it.
That would be, yeah, that's a good entry point. Yeah, that's a good, that's actually a really good point, because I think a lot of people will still be afraid to be in a car.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in it, but if it's just something bringing your groceries.
But
like,
I trust them with my milk, sure.
Yeah, all right, you know. It's like it's got like eyes, the headlights are eyes. It's got a, yeah, it's a cute little robot, and that's how they're going to lure you in. All right, let's go ahead. I believe we need to go to a break now. Adrienne, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
For joining in here. And
always fun.
Absolutely, always. And thank you, everybody who's watching live right now. We've got a lot more coverage coming up. So here's what's on the docket, just to remind you. In a little bit, we're going to head to our New York studio with Jeremy Kaplan, who's going to be joined by Jerry Colbert, who's CEO and co-founder of Atomic Entertainment. Talk about the really exciting things they're doing. But we're going to take a quick break right now, and then we're coming back with Ronan Glon, wherever Ronan is in the world, you never know. But he is our automotive editor, and he is going to catch us up to date on a lot of what's going on. There's some really, really cool things going on with automotive and tech. He's going to kind of run us over the big headlines that are happening right now. All while doing it live. Drop in your comments, questions back here in just a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in live every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you all the tech headlines and interviews. I'm Greg Nibbler, and right now we are joined by Ronan to talk about some automotive tech. Hello, Ronan.
Hi, how's it going?
Doing good. I got to ask, you know, as every time that you come on the show, where are you at right now?
I'm at home right now.
You are actually at home. Okay,
yeah.
You travel more than I think anybody I've ever met in my life because you are always on the road somewhere around the world taking a look at all the coolest cars and everything that's happening in the world of automotive and tech. Why don't you go ahead and let's kind of walk through some of these really cool things that you have here to talk about. I know to start off, maybe some electric motorcycles.
Yeah, it's interesting because electric cars get a lot of attention these days. Everybody's talking about electric SUVs, electric pickup trucks, electric sports cars like the Tesla Roadster. But the motorcycle segment is also adopting electrification. And I talked to the head of design for Ducati, which makes the really fast, really sexy Italian motorcycles. And he actually predicted that going electric will change motorcycle design more than it will change car design, which is kind of an unexpected statement, but I can see where he's coming from.
Why do you think that is? Because, I mean, for one, I guess the motorcycle industry seems like, to me, like it would be one of the holdouts just because of, I don't know, the culture of it, where you want that, you know, gas-powered motorcycle. That's just kind of how I picture it. But then at CES, we saw Harley Davidson's fully adapted to it. Ducati, I mean, you're getting all the big names running into that. So how would it change the design, though?
Well, it's going to change the design. This is what Andrea Ferrazzi explained to me. He's the designer. On an electric motorcycle, you don't need a gas tank anymore. You don't need an exhaust anymore. And if you look at a Ducati or a Harley Davidson, the gas tank and the exhaust are very present in the design. They're pieces of art. Whereas on a car, I bet the average motorist doesn't know where to find the gas tank, let alone what it looks like. So designers have to find a way to kind of replace that or shape it differently or put something else where it usually is to keep the bike looking like it should. Otherwise, if you take the gas tank out, you end up with a normal bike, basically.
That's a good point. So I guess it's going to give them a lot of more artistic license to be creative on the looks of bikes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to open up new possibilities to have, I think, different designs that we're not used to seeing on a motorcycle. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with. And it's going to be a gradual change. It's not going to be, 2019 you have a gas-powered bike, 2020 you have an electric bike. It's going to, the design is going to evolve in a very gradual way, just so you don't alienate the core buyers who, like you said, are very attached to the way a bike looks, the way it rides, the way it sounds.
So yeah, it'll be a little bit more of maybe a slower adoption as they go through that. But yeah, in the near future though, that's how we're going to be seeing it, and it makes sense. Everybody's going to, I feel like, start adapting more to these electric vehicles. But that's an interesting field with with motorcycles to see where they're going to go with that. And speaking of electric cars, I know we also have Tesla, as always, in the news with various things that they're doing. What do they have for us to catch up on now?
Well, Tesla co-founder Elon Musk announced via Twitter, where else, of course, that Tesla is going to add dog mode and a Sentry mode to compatible cars, so cars made after October 2016. And what's really cool is that both features will be available via an over-the-air software update. So you don't need to take your car into the dealership to have them added. You don't need to plug a USB drive into the car and load it manually. It's just, you're going to wake up one day and both modes are there. And they add pretty useful functions too. That's
just a crazy concept. I mean, if you don't have an electric vehicle to get an update like that, I mean, you're so used to going to the dealership to fix everything. It's just like, oh, boom. Oh, I've got 2 cool new modes now on my car. It just updated overnight.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are these? You said dog mode. What is a dog mode for a Tesla?
Dog mode for a Tesla. This hasn't been fully revealed yet. I'm just basing this off of various tweets. The idea is that you can leave your dog in your Tesla S, your Tesla X, have the climate control running at a set temperature so it's not 100 degrees inside, even have the cooled seats running so the dog is not too hot, and you can leave water. But the thing is, a lot of people are not necessarily up to date on Tesla news. So you might walk by a Tesla S with a dog inside and think, oh, wow, the dog needs to be rescued and break a window. Dog mode will allegedly give owners the possibility of having, so you know how the Teslas have this massive screen in the dashboard?
Mm-hmm.
You can write a message on the dashboard that says, I'm fine, my owner will be right back, I've got water, it's 72 degrees inside. So people who walk by the Tesla can know that the dog is fine and not break a window, not call the fire department or something like that. So it's going to be a pretty interesting addition to the car.
As long as people remember to look at that dash, because otherwise, I can imagine that Tesla windows, for some reason, I just picture it being more expensive than a normal window.
Yeah. On cars like the Model 3, the screen is so big that you can't not see it. I mean, it's the size of a television. So
that's true.
You shouldn't.
Well, that's cool. I like that idea. So dog mode, possible are coming up over-the-air update for them. And what's Sentry mode?
Sentry mode was added after owners complained about either getting their car broken into or people leaving dents in the airport, for instance. Someone backs into the car and just leaves a dent and drives off. And Teslas built since 2016 have 8 cameras that are used for the various driving aids. So the cameras monitor the blind spots, they monitor what's in front of the car, what's behind the car. And Sentry mode will leverage these cameras and turn them into basically security guards. So when the car is parked, if they detect an impact of any kind, so somebody bumping into the car, breaking a window, they'll automatically record the footage and sound an alarm, which will apparently sound some kind of classical music according to Elon Musk. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's like.
I did see something that he posted about the music. I pulled up just a little bit of it, of what it could be. As far as just some metal that starts playing to dissuade people from bumping into the car. We're playing just a little bit underneath right now. I love that idea, although I don't know if that would be a deterrent for everybody. It's like, oh, all right, sweet. But so we got Sentry Mode. Sentry Mode is something, so Tesla, and they're going to be rolling this out. So if you have a Tesla, when do you think you're going to get this?
It's supposed to start rolling out this week, but that's what they announced last week, and there might be a few delays, and all cars might not get it at the same time, but it should be rolling out this week, so I'm expecting to learn more about it before the end of the week.
Okay. So finding out some more about Tesla there, some updates you might be getting with that. Now, the other thing I know we were going to bring up here is there's an interesting study now about autonomous vehicles. We were talking about it earlier in the show, just how much autonomous vehicles are going to change everything that we do as far as how we travel, grocery deliveries, and these are slowly going to be rolling out. And the idea is for a lot of people that artificial intelligently controlled vehicles, there we go, figured it out, AI controlled vehicles will change the way that everything happens and make things go a lot smoother, make driving easier, reduce accidents. But now there's some ideas that this may not necessarily be the case in some instances.
Yeah, there was a study that showed electric vehicles could, instead of paying for parking or going back to a garage, they could basically drive themselves around in circles and drive as slowly as possible to take up as much time as possible. And I mean, that's something you can't do as a human driver. Last week I was in Paris. I paid 35 euros which is about maybe close to $35 to park between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. An electric car would say, no, I'm not paying $35. I'm just going to drive around in circles until somebody needs me, either the owner or the person who hails it, if it's a ride-hailing company. Driving around in circles around the block and drive as slowly as possible, and maybe even cause some kind of traffic jam to take up more time. So it's a kind of a worst case scenario possibility. Nobody's programming these autonomous cars to do that. But it's something that as AI develops, they could eventually learn themselves.
Right. I mean, it makes sense. If you're dropping somebody off and they're just going to be like 10 minutes, like you're not going to park. You're going to drive around the block until the person comes out of the post office or whatever. Yeah. I mean, if it were my AI car, I would want it to do that, but I wouldn't want anybody else to do it. That's how I would look at it.
No, exactly. And it also brings up kind of the necessity that if you do get to the point where you've got these kind of robo cars driving around the block for hours on end, there needs to be some kind of regulation preventing them from doing that.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's an interesting study that I think a lot of people haven't thought about, the actual ramifications as this stuff starts rolling out. I mean, there's definitely places where you can take them right now. We talked about, in Arizona, you can take a Waymo AI-controlled car, autonomous vehicle. But yeah, these are some interesting things to think about where it's going to go from here. I know there's also another auto show that's coming up or just happened. What can you tell us about that?
It just happened. The press days were last week. The Chicago Auto Show, which is traditionally a smaller event on the auto show calendar. It's never been as big as Detroit or New York. But the way auto shows are going, Chicago is getting much smaller than it used to be. We saw a lot of limited edition cars. There was special variants like the Toyota TRD, which were kind of off-road focused variants of the Tacoma, the Tundra, the 4Runner. But Subaru traveled that was kind of the big news of the show. Subaru went to the Chicago show to introduce the all-new 2020 Legacy, which is an interesting car because it competes in a segment of the market that's shrinking, and a lot of its competitors have abandoned it, like Ford is going to pull out of it when they axe the Fusion. But Subaru made a statement saying, we still believe in sedans, and we're going to put our effort into making a decent sedan. And the Legacy is a gorgeous car. It's got a ton of tech inside. It's got this really cool touchscreen that I'm hoping will find its way to other Subaru cars in the near future. And it's also going to spawn the next generation Outback, which is a hugely popular model for Subaru.
Very cool. Well, and that's all at the Chicago Auto Show, and we've got coverage of that at digitaltrends.com, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we covered everything.
Fantastic. Well, Ronan, thank you so much for joining us. It's always fun to learn about everything that's going on in the world of automotive and tech, and we've got Ronan on every couple of weeks. He comes on here to talk about this, but you can keep up to date by going to digitaltrends.com and go to that section and read about all these exciting things. I kind of want to read some of the comments just from the Tesla or the AI cars causing traffic jams, just to see where people's ideas are, where their thoughts are with that. Ronan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, there was Ronan Glahn from Digital Trends talking about the updates, giving us a kind of wrap up of what's going on in the world of tech and automotive. Like I said, follow along at digitaltrends.com. All right. My name is Greg Nibbler, and I do want to say we're going to be heading over to our New York studio here in just a couple of minutes. Once we start getting that lined up, we will be ready to go. But just to recap some of the things we talked about already today, running through at the beginning, we were talking about the Samsung Unpacked event, and that's coming up on February 20th. We've got an article at Digital Trends kind of giving you the rundown of everything that's going on with that and what we know, what we expect, what we think is going to happen, and all of that is right there. We think we're going to get 3 new S10 phones. We're going to get some kind of a foldable phone announcement. What that announcement's going to be, we don't know. But we definitely, they're going to have to reveal something. Doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to be able to buy it yet, but we'll find out some more at that event as well. That's on February 20th. Maybe the Samsung Galaxy S10X, and that's potentially the 5G 1 terabyte memory, like the giant phone with all the bells and whistles. We might get something like that. So we don't know for sure, but that's at Digital Trends. And just kind of running through a couple of the other headlines too, just as we get ready to head to our New York studio, Microsoft HoloLens, that's at Mobile World Congress. So Digital Trends is going to be covering all of Mobile World Congress, of course, and we'll bring you up-to-date information about everything that's going on there. But the Microsoft HoloLens, they released a strange teaser video, may imply that there's more AI, may imply that there's more artificial intelligence involved in it, possibly a way to keep the HoloLens on for an extended period of time. So we'll find out if that's really how it's going to work. I, myself, am a big fan of the HoloLens, or the idea of the HoloLens, rather. I think the idea is great. Whether or not it's going to be implemented into something that's easily purchasable for a lot of us, we'll see. But augmented reality is definitely a big segment where a lot of tech companies are investing heavily. We know Google, has their AR maps that are going to be coming out. Augmented reality is going to be incorporated into the maps. So when you're walking around, we talked about this yesterday, it'll pop up different digital imagery across your map, just when you're getting directions. We know that Apple also just hired a new CEO for their augmented reality section. I don't think they even talked about that today. That was some breaking news that came out, or not CEO, but a head, I think chief of marketing for their AR department, which means they're investing heavily in it as well to see where that's going to end up. So lots of interesting developments when it comes down to the augmented reality side of just tech in general. I feel like it's going to be a pretty big year for it. Maybe we'll see something about AR in the Samsung event. Maybe that could be one of the surprises. And that's kind of one of the fun things about a lot of these events, whether it's Mobile World Congress or Samsung Unpacked. It's what are the surprises? Are we going to get some surprises? And hopefully, you hope we usually do. Taking a look here, there's some different comments and questions coming through, so we'll see what we get with those if you guys want to talk about it. It looks like a lot of people talking about fuel cells, going back to our automotive section with Ronan Glahn, of what is going to be the future of that. Electric vehicles, clearly making a lot of inroads, a lot of companies investing heavily in electric vehicles. We found out that the motorcycle industry, Harley-Davidson actually won one of our best of automotive, I believe, tech for CES 2019. You can check out all of our rewards or awards at digitaltrends.com, excuse me. But yeah, so even Harley-Davidson going into electric vehicles, electric motorcycles. We know Ducati now is making their own electric motorcycle. And Raymond is saying fuel cells make more sense to me. There's definitely people talking about the fuel cell side of it. And that's something, I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely educated in. I certainly know what hydrogen fuel cells are, but it seems to me that the cost to get those out has been prohibitive, but I could be wrong on that. And I'm sure we've got an article at Digital Trends to talk about it, but it's fun things to talk about, alternative fuels and where we're going to end up with all of that. Like I said, we're going to be heading to New York here in just a few once we get their studio set up to go to our interview over there. So once that's happening, we'll direct you over there. I'm Greg Nibbler here in Portland, Oregon. And, you know, we broadcast this show every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and we do appreciate everybody who tunes in. A couple of other things, just recapping some news that we had today at the beginning of the show, just to keep you up to date, because that's one of the things we like to do here with this show, with Digital Trends Live, is make sure you know what's going on in the world of tech. And LinkedIn making their announcement that they're going to be launching a live video tool / streaming platform. What do you think of that? How does that work for you? Is that something you're excited about? That's definitely something that's, you know, I think live video, as we know here at Digital Trends, and you know if you're watching this, is a really big part of the landscape now. And we love it. We're embracing it. But it's interesting to see different platforms and how they experiment with it, where they're going with it. So LinkedIn, another company that is now launching into that. Going down the list here, another interesting development has to do with SoftBank. So SoftBank is a Japanese robotics firm. If you've never heard of them, you've probably seen some of the videos of Pepper the robot. And Pepper the robot is something they've invested in a lot, but they also have been making a lot of investments in autonomous delivery vehicles. And they just put in $1 billion in a company called Nuro. Nuro is making autonomous deliveries in, I believe, the Phoenix area. Scottsdale, I think, is where it is. They've made partnerships with Kroger. And so you're going to, if you're down in that area, you're going to be seeing these around your streets, but probably rolling out to more cities soon. But $1 billion they just invested in that, in addition to another almost $3 billion they've already invested in autonomous deliveries. It just proves, you know, as we know, autonomous vehicles are going to be a part of our landscape, whether we like it or not. There's definitely a lot to think about when it comes to it, as far as how it's going to affect how we drive and how we engage with the world. All right, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're going to be heading to our New York studio, where we'll be joined by our editor-in-chief, Jeremy Kaplan, and Jerry Colbert. Okay, so what we want to do right now is we're going to head to our New York studio, where we're going to be joined by our editor-in-chief, Jeremy Kaplan, and Jerry Colbert. Jerry is the CEO and co-founder of a company called Atomic Entertainment, and they make some really amazing programming. You've probably seen their show Brainchild. It's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's a show directed towards helping minority children and girls know that it's okay to start getting into STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, and giving them a really nice entry point into that. It's a really fascinating show. We're going to play the trailer of that right now, and then we're going to head over to our New York studio, where we're going to be joined by Jeremy and Jerry to talk about everything else they have going. And let's go ahead and roll that right now. Here it is. This is the trailer to Brainchild.
What exactly are memories? How big is the universe?
Do you control your emotions, or do emotions control you?
What are germs?
Do fish pee?
You're about to find out.
If you've ever wondered why you don't look like the people you see on social media, well, they don't even look like that. No way. Is the 5-second rule real? Would you throw it away or keep eating it?
There's a whole world of germs out there.
Personally, if I drop food on the floor, I tend to apply a different rule. When in doubt, throw it out. Unless it's a cheese puff, then I'm totally eating it and probably wiping the cheese dust on my pants.
What the heck?
There are more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on Earth.
Is there other life out there?
Sometimes your emotions can change the way your brain interprets the world.
Let's see if they can stomach what they've been served.
Why is it in a diaper?
Oh, we ran out of plates. Sorry.
It's time to discover the good, excuse me boys, the bad, and the OMG.
Get ready to change the way you think about thinking on Brainchild.
New show coming out on Netflix, and I am here with the brains behind Brainchild, Jerry Colbert, the founder of a production company called Atomic Entertainment. Jerry, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We were just discussing one of the little segments that you might have seen in there about donuts that fall to the ground and get coated in germs. Do you eat them? I'm going to eat it every time. I don't know why. It's terrible for me.
I think that's a big mistake. I don't think you said you would eat it off the floor of the mall.
Not directly off someone's shoe, but
But what's the difference? The shoe hits the...
They've left and the germs are gone, right?
No.
Clearly, I need science in my life.
There's the 5-second rule is bogus. The germs do not count to 5 and then jump on the donut. But it was amazing how many people like you were willing to be disgusting and eat the donut off the floor of the mall.
Tell us about the show. What inspired you?
So Brainchild was inspired by this idea that we could make learning really fun for kids. Specifically, we were trying to reach kids who are like ages 9 through 12 or 8 through 12 and get them excited about science topics, whether those were behavioral science like creativity or motivation, or harder sciences like outer space or oceans or germs. And so the show is actually a series of comedy sketches, experiments, demonstrations, and hidden camera experiments that teach you about the world you live in.
And the host, fairly unique, a young Indian girl. What's her name?
Sahana Srinivasan.
I wasn't going to pronounce that.
Incredible. Right. She was actually a student, or still is a student at University of Texas, and she auditioned for us on a iPhone in her dorm room.
Nice. And
we were just all blown away by how cool she was, and just she had a really authentic voice. And as far as we know, there's never been a science series hosted solely by a woman, actually.
Yeah.
So, which wasn't really a calculation for us, but when we realized that's what we were doing, we're like, oh, cool. What better time to say, you know what, women and girls love science. The science community is made up of almost 50% women, but you don't see that reflected in the media.
Absolutely.
So great, let's do it.
And obviously there's a problem with science education in general, so the show was fantastic, but bringing new voices and faces to it is fantastic.
Thanks.
And of course you have Neil deGrasse Tyson, a very famous face in the science world, but it's nice to just see a broaden that number of voices.
He's not a woman, though, just to clarify.
I haven't seen myself, so I can't confirm or deny that. I'm going to go along with you, though.
Yeah, but and then we also had our science expert in the show as a woman as well, a woman named Allie Ward. We call her our science friend. She's a great science communicator. And we decided it would be fun to just have someone in that role. One clever thing we did in the show, just because we know that kids don't always love an adult authority figure coming in and delivering information,
fair.
is Allie in the show, she always appears on a screen or some other way. She never actually is in the space.
Oh, interesting.
So she always is like one step removed, so the kids can feel like, okay, she's popping up on my iPhone or my whatever, Android or whatever we're using, or on my TV screen. So it's always just a step removed from the scene.
And so the show's made in partnership with Pharrell Williams, right?
Yes. So Pharrell was a huge fan of another show we created called Brain Games, and we were introduced by our mutual agents, Jad Daya at William Morris Endeavor. And Pharrell had just had his big hit Happy and wanted to use his global platform with kids to do something cool and educational. And so we just joined forces with him and came up with this show with Brainchild. And so Pharrell's actually was not just a collaborator on it, but he's actually in 4 or 5 of the episodes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So he was wonderful to work with.
Every time you see an interview with him, he seems like just the most positive and inspiring person.
Yeah.
So it's great to see him working on a show like this,
he's
too.
positive, inspiring, and he's also great at really giving you the kind of rope with your vision. So he's like, look, you guys have this vision. Bounce stuff off of me. If you need me to come in and offer any thoughts or help you kind of protect the vision, I'm happy to do that. But he was just great to work with and super positive.
And if you're questioning the need for a show like this, I watched a segment that asked a very simple question: how long would it take to drive into space in a car, straight up, obeying the speed limit, so 55 miles an hour? And I happen to know the answer, but I walked around my office and the bulk of people did not know, and I was like, come on, guys, this is simple science. The answer being, of course, it takes about an hour. It's not that far. It's just space.
Well, yeah, that's funny. Most people think it's much farther to what we call, the edge of space, but it's really not. Yes, it's very close.
Which leads me into another point. I wanted to talk about the documentary you guys have just put out, 14
minutes from Earth.
Minutes from Earth. I was thinking hours, but it's not. It's 14 minutes.
14 minutes, yeah.
Which is the time it takes to fall from the edge of space?
So 14 minutes is how long. So basically 14 minutes from Earth is about a guy named Alan Eustace, who was a senior vice president at Google, who had an idea after watching Felix Baumgartner's record-setting jump from space for Red Bull, thought, how can I do this safer? How can we make stratospheric exploration safer? And along the way, what kind of science can we create around everything from the ascent to the descent to making sure parachutes don't get caught up on your way down, and there's a lot of kind of science problems they wanted to solve. And 14 minutes is how long it took from when he started his descent in supersonic freefall until eventually finishing his descent under parachute canopy. So it was a while.
That's about how long I would say, no, 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 no. If somebody can, are you going to do this, Jeremy? Absolutely not. No way, no way, no way.
Alan kept asking me, he's like, so would you feel like it's safe? Would you go up? And I said, those are two separate questions. Yes and no.
Safe for you.
I'm good.
The rest
I think I would get about 30 feet off the ground and look down and realize I've got another 130,000 feet to go, and just have a bit of a meltdown. So I'm happy to stay on the ground.
And what's fascinating about the documentary also, you were telling me earlier, the things that you think are dangerous about a mission like that, you know, like stepping out of a capsule and falling, or the plunge to Earth, I imagine to be like a fairly dangerous part. But part of the risk is other things like the capsule that seems especially safe.
Well, that's what was interesting, is every attempt, or not every attempt, every trip to the stratosphere to this point has been in a capsule. And it's the same kind of capsule that you would use, essentially it's an off-the-shelf capsule, right, that you use to go to the moon or anything like that.
Which I could also do.
Which, of course, yeah, you and I could do that, no problem. I'm not doing it, though. So the biggest safety issue with that is getting out of the capsule. So the capsule, being in the capsule, you're fine, but it's stepping out of the capsule, disengaging from capsule life support, putting on your suit, your life support that's going to get you all the way down, and then the risk on your way out of that capsule of tearing something or having a cord come disconnected, and that's happened and with very bad results on many of these attempts. So Alan Eustace and the team that he worked with decided, let's eliminate the capsule. Let's figure out how to make this safe. And so they created a spacesuit that was the first new spacesuit designed in 30-something years.
Wow.
That is a totally self-enclosed life support system. And we get in 14 minutes from Earth, we get into all of that and how they created that and all of those kind of challenges they hit along the way. But they created a very, very, very safe system. I mean,
I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but I have one quick question for you.
Yeah.
If there isn't a capsule, how does he get up into space? Does he just...
Well, I would spoil it. It's on Netflix now, so you can watch 14 Minutes from Earth on Netflix and find out. But the simple answer is a balloon the size of a football field carries him to the stratosphere.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Which is how I would go if I was going to go into space.
Well, and it's also
which again I'm not.
One of the reasons he was able to go higher than Felix did with the Red Bull jump was because he eliminated the capsule. You're eliminating thousands of pounds of weight. Mm-hmm. So there's a limit to the size of balloon that you can really have, and so that they were able to go a bit higher because they didn't have the capsule weight. So there was a lot of advantages to getting rid of that capsule.
So 14 minutes from space.
14 minutes from Earth.
From Earth, I'm sorry. Brainchild, also available on Netflix.
All on Netflix.
What's it like to work with Netflix? Are they good
great
partners?
Yeah, they're wonderful. Yeah, they're creatively they give you a ton of latitude. Their creative input's incredible. All around, it's been a wonderful experience working with them.
Do you know if there's a lot of STEM-focused content on Netflix?
There isn't a ton. We're hoping to do more for them. But that's true across the entire media landscape. That's not just Netflix. STEM-focused content, creating STEM is science, technology, engineering, math content, and we throw arts in there as well. So we say STEAM, because we think that's critical as well. Sure. It's really hard to do that in a way that's fun and engaging for kids. So we're hoping that shows like Brainchild and Brain Games that we did before, and we know that there's other production companies trying to do more. We hope it starts to make up more of the media landscape in general. But Netflix seems to be as committed to it as anyone else, which is to try and get some good stuff out there.
Well, that's great. There's obviously an issue with education in our society today, as evidenced by the fact that we don't know how long it takes to drive into space. It's not that far.
It's not far, yeah.
If you're curious, you can catch both these shows on Netflix, of course. We've been talking with Jerry Kolber, the CEO of Atomic Entertainment. And if people want to find out more about your company?
AtomicEntertainment.com.
And probably a lot more exciting stuff coming from Jerry in the near future, which he can't tell us about, of course, because confidentiality. But it sounds neat. That's all from us in New York. Heading back to you out in Portland. Thanks again.
All right, thanks so much, Jeremy. I would absolutely do the jump. I would do the jump. So if you're looking for anybody else to do that, I'm in. I can't guarantee it would be great for entertainment, but I would probably freak out a lot. So I would totally be into that. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up just a little bit of what we talked about today here on Digital Trends Live. Like I said at the beginning, we kind of recapped some of the Samsung Unpacked event. We went through a lot of that right before we just went to New York. But as usual, over the next week and a half until the February 20th, this is going to be big news in the world of tech. So follow along at digitaltrends.com. You can keep up to date with everything that's happening with that. We had Ronan Glon on talking about the some different tech automotive stories that are going on, some big things that are happening there. Really interesting concepts as far as whether autonomous vehicles will actually cause traffic jams because they'll refuse to pay for parking. That's something we need to think about. So those are all the kinds of conversations that we have there at Digital Trends. Coming up tomorrow on the show, so we've got Neda Shalji, could be mispronouncing the name, just going to say that right now, from a company that is looking to rethink the technology around luggage. You took a look at luggage, thought, this is clunky. If you've ever been to an airport and gathered your luggage, you know everything is very clunky. So he's rethinking that about how we can do that better using technology, industrial design. So we'll have Neda on. We've got Drew Prindle, our emerging technologies editor, who's going to be coming back on here to talk about another kind of vehicle that he's got. This is it's called a Kawano KO1 rideable device that's essentially, as he described it, a one-wheeled Segway that's small enough to take on a bus or a train. So we're going to be having that in here, illusions, Michael. So we're going to be talking about that with Drew Prindle. He's going to be joining us here in just a little bit to talk about, or tomorrow, to talk about this new one-wheeled Segway type of vehicle. And we're going to be live, as we always are, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, talking right here directly to you. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit that subscribe button to make sure you get every episode of Digital Trends live as soon as we go live. And join us all show. We get to find out about tech headlines. We learn things together. It's pretty fun. We love being here with you, and we love broadcasting to you. And like I said, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. Head to digitaltrends.com to read about everything we talked about today. I'm Greg Nibbler. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode.